I want to know um, from you, Sabri, is one of the things that I've heard a lot about actually is the word money. And I think you and I both have a pretty healthy, when you're a business owner, money, you just talk about money. I think it's important to talk about money. But it's funny how some people I talk to, they get uncomfortable with a topic called money, about money. I don't know why. Do you ever find that's the case?
Yeah, yeah. Like I think that people can get, they might watch my videos and think like, oh, this dude's all about money, right? And realistically, the world that I operate in is business, and in business, money is the scoreboard. And I really look at money as opportunity to make an impact on things that you want to do. I grew up, in a house where I was dirt poor and money was always a problem, right? So it's like, that's been obviously a central point in my business and in my life, is focusing on that, because you can't help people, like a large scale of people, if you don't have some kind of resources, right? You can either and I'm not saying that you need money to help people, that's bullshit, right? If you don't have any money, you can go work in a soup kitchen. You can give back to people that are less fortunate, right? You can make impact in other ways, right? But if you want to have real impact and do a lot, you're going to need some vehicle that's going to give you money in order to make that change, right? Most of the people that we know, and we think about, so people like Mother Teresa and Gandhi and all these people that made such big, profound impacts, they had some backer, they had some financial money coming in for them to allow them to get that message out. Whether it's partners or however you want to look at it, there's some kind of resource around that. And money is just a way to help people give back. And especially if I look at, the way that I look at business is that you've got a market, right? On one axis is the value, and there's a straight line going out. And as a business owner, you basically get to take a percentage of the value that you create in a marketplace, okay? So you don't make money unless you provide value to some degree. And when you're out there in a free market, capitalistic economy like we operate in, it's you're really compensated by the amount of value that you provide to that marketplace. And in turn, when you provide that value and you collect money as a result of providing that value, then you can give back, right? It's like a ripple effect. If you take one business owner and you double their business, and you have double the amount of money coming in, that affects their employees. It affects their health and their well-being, right? It affects their children. It affects their social circles, the charities and churches and philanthropy that they can do. And then it also affects all the people in society that look to that individual to what is possible in life, right? So there's a profound effect that happens off that. And yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the money and just think oh, this dude's all about the money. But at a certain stage, that money doesn't have a big materialistic impact on your life, and it's really just the impact that you make with that, and what is the challenge and what is the climb that you're looking to go through. And I do see it what you're saying, people feel uncomfortable talking about money, right? And that's because they don't have a healthy relationship with money.
I agree, totally, I agree. And I always say this to people is that if I give a generous guy $1 million, I've given him he's got $1 million to be generous with. And if I give $1 million to a selfish bastard, he's got more to be selfish with. It's not money that's the problem, but people have, like you said, a really negative view of money because maybe they see examples of people in power or abusing power. You got to find examples of whatever. You can Google, you can find examples of everything. But I think we're kidding ourselves if we're robbing ourselves in society if we don't have a healthy chat about it.
And I think that the whole money thing, right? People think that just because I guess today's day and age with the media and everything being so accessible and everything is much more documented than it was 100 years ago, right? So everyone looks at it now and they believe that corruption is at an all-time high, that money is polluting the world and it's creating this 1% that's more toxic than ever. Yet they refuse to look back in history and look at when Alexander was 16 years old, traveling country to country, raping and pillaging for gold and spices, right? So it's like this whole thing, there's always gonna be people that have that hunger for, you know, where it's like greed, and they're gonna use these things to do certain things, right? Whether you're trading spices and you're a merchant, or it's gold, or there's always gonna be that innate thing that's gonna be in people. And you can choose to focus on like the pitfalls and the negative things, but if you remove money from the equation, right? Like, and you just remove that, there's gonna be something else that comes about. Yeah. And if you just look at history to date, you know, people complain about capitalism and they talk about socialism and all these things. It's like, you know, in my opinion, capitalistic as a function of society is the most successful one, right? You look at the other ones and you look at those countries and the socialist countries, it's like, well, that's not like abundance. You know what I mean? Abundance, like there's on one end, you look at abundance and you look at the greed and stuff that spills off the back of that. But on the other end, it's like you look at the opposite to that in other kind of societies, whether it's communism or socialism or whatever it might be. And, you know, you look at those people, is that an abundance? Or is it an oppression? So like, I don't think that money is the issue. You know what I mean? It's more so like what you said. It's like if you give $1 million to a greedy bastard, he's still going to be a greedy bastard. Or if you give it to like somebody generous, they're still going to be generous, right? So it's really humans and human psychology. It's not the money component. And if you take that away, it's going to go back to people going and conquering land instead of money. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you click the like button and subscribe. We're dropping a video on YouTube every other day. And if you've got any questions about any of the content that I covered in this video, just basically leave a comment with hashtag heysabri in the comment section, and every week we're also trying to go through all those questions and get them answered. So go ahead, click subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.